It's Friday, the 11th of June 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. In today's headlines, overseas raiders offer $10 billion for Australian tech companies in 10 days. Plus, Australia's new Defence Minister tries, without much success, to sound positive about China. An ASX-listed company jumps almost 17% on takeover rumours, which it says it doesn't know about, and Victoria's hard lockdown ends. Our lead story today, Australian tech stocks are all the rage, with cashed up US and European buyers bidding more than $10 billion over the past fortnight for local companies. The latest was SMS marketing group Message Media, which yesterday said it had been sold for $1.7 billion to European giant Cinch. Last week, US group Pluralsight paid $2 billion for a cloud guru, an online training startup founded by two Melbourne brothers just 5 years ago. Earlier this week, the board of ASX-listed Hansen Technologies, a billing and data management software company, agreed to be sold for $1.3 billion to private equity group BGH Capital. And electronic design software company Altium rejected a $5 billion bid from Nasdaq-listed Autodesk. In total, that's $5 billion worth of sales and $5 billion worth of unsuccessful bids. Australia's software and technology industry has come a long way over the past decade. Market leader Atlassian is listed on the Nasdaq and worth $77 billion. Design group Canva is worth $15 billion. The buy now, pay later groups Afterpay and Zipco didn't exist 6 years ago and are now worth $29 billion and $4 billion respectively. Cloud accounting group Xero is worth $20 billion. It highlights the entrepreneurial spirit and determination of the local tech sector. We should all be proud of it. In overseas news, Wall Street pushed to new record levels overnight after the US Consumer Price Index rose by 0.6% last month, the second biggest jump in more than a decade. Prices were 5% higher than a year ago, and the debate among investors is whether or not the US economy will overheat. Singapore, which has been bandied around as a potential travel bubble partner with Australia, has relaxed COVID restrictions. Over the past week, the number of new daily cases has dropped to single figures, and around 44% of the population have received at least one dose of a vaccine. And the G20, that's the world's largest developed nations, are back to pre-pandemic growth levels in totality, though within the group there's much disparity. According to the OECD, the gross domestic product for the countries rose 0.8% during the March quarter. India, Turkey, China, Australia, South Korea and Brazil are now all back at output levels seen before the pandemic. But the US and South Africa are still behind, while Italy and the UK have a long way to go. Locally, the relatively new Defence Minister Peter Dutton yesterday gave his first major speech in the portfolio, saying Australia wanted to have a productive relationship with China and craved a peaceful region. He then went on to say nations big and small wanted to interact by the rule of law and not be manipulated or coerced. Mr Dutton said the prospect of military confrontation was less remote than in the past, and Australia must prepare for whatever was on the horizon. He also flagged expanding US Marine presence in Darwin. Not sure that speech is going to help improve the relationship with China. The S&P ASX 200 rose almost 0.5% yesterday, closing at a new record high of 7,303 points. Most sectors were up, with real estate and tech stocks leading the way. Financial software group Iris jumped 16.5% after reports of a takeover bid appeared in the Financial Review. The rise came even though Iris said it had not received a direct approach and wasn't in a position to say anything else. That's about as half-hearted a response as you can get. Clearly, in this instance, where there's smoke, there's fire. The banks are starting to up the ante on interest rates, with ANZ saying it expects 2 hikes in the official cash rate, which is used to set mortgage rates, by the end of 2023. The Reserve Bank has stuck to its position that it wouldn't be lifting the official cash rate until 2024, but ANZ said the tighter labour market would force the central bank's hand. Victorians will be required to wear a mask when they leave home, although Melbourne will no longer be classified as a hotspot. The city's hard lockdown ended last night, despite 4 new community-transmitted cases yesterday. Some restrictions will remain. New South Wales will pilot a scheme to bring back 250 international students per fortnight in coming months, in an effort to help the struggling higher education sector. The students will be flown in and undergo 2 weeks of quarantine in purpose-built accommodation overseen by New South Wales Police and New South Wales Health before being allowed into the education system. In more normal times, the state is host to 250,000 overseas students each year. And the world's largest meat processor, JBS Foods, said it paid an $11 million ransom in Bitcoin to hackers behind an attack that forced the shutdown of the group, including its meatworks in Australia last week. The company said the decision was made to protect its data and its customers. Problem is, it just encourages the next cyber hacker. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. Make sure you hit follow so you get it every morning. And if you'd like more detail and more stories, search for our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed. We also released a daily interview. Today we're looking at culture and the cost to companies when they get it wrong. I'll be back later with the afternoon market report. I'm Sean Aylmer. Have a great day.